The train that arrived yesterday at exactly 11:43 p.m., the abandoned platform lights turned on by themselves for the first time in 12 years. People in my city still argue about what happened after that. Most say it was a prank. Others refuse to talk about it at all. But every witness agrees on one detail. The train that arrived that night shouldn't have existed anymore. Mara first noticed the sound while locking the tiny bookstore she inherited from her grandfather. A low, metallic hum, distant, rhythmic, impossible. The old San Aurelio station had been sealed since the flood of 2014. Rusted gates, broken clocks, empty tracks swallowed by weeds. No trains had passed through there in over a decade. Yet the sound kept growing louder. Clack, clack, clack. Mara stepped into the cold midnight fog and saw something that made her keys slip from her fingers. The station lights were glowing, not flickering, not broken. Glowing warmly like someone had flipped them on seconds ago. A crowd had already gathered beyond the gates. Street vendors, night cyclists, students holding phones with trembling hands. Nobody spoke loudly. Everyone whispered like they were standing outside a hospital room. Then the train arrived. Silver. Spotless. Windows glowing amber against the rain. And on the front display, in perfect gold lettering, West Line, yesterday. The brakes hissed softly. The doors opened. No conductor stepped out. No announcement played. Only silence. Until an old man near the back of the crowd suddenly started crying. Not quietly, the kind of crying that collapses a person from the inside. "That's my wife," he whispered. Inside the third carriage sat a woman in a yellow coat, smiling gently through the glass. The old man kept shaking his head. "She died 9 years ago." The crowd erupted. Some screamed, some ran. Others rushed closer to the windows. And then people began recognizing faces. A brother, a daughter, a best friend. Every passenger was someone lost, not missing, gone. Mara couldn't breathe, because sitting near the rear carriage window was her grandfather, the man whose funeral she attended 3 winters earlier. He looked exactly the same. Gray sweater, crooked glasses, coffee stain on his cuff. Even the little notebook he always carried rested in his lap. He looked up slowly and smiled at her. The station seemed to disappear around her. The rain, the crowd, the sirens approaching in the distance. Gone. Her grandfather lifted one finger toward the train doors. An invitation. People started boarding. Some desperate, some terrified. One woman nearly tackled a police officer trying to stop her. A teenage boy screamed that he just wanted to see his mother again. Nobody knew what would happen if the train left. Nobody knew where it came from. But grief is stronger than fear when someone you love appears on the other side of a door. Mara walked forward before her mind could stop her. The train smelled faintly of cedarwood and rainwater. Warm light filled the cabin. No shadows, no engine noise. Just the soft rattle of cups in the dining car, as if the train were gliding through another world entirely. Her grandfather looked at her with tired, kind eyes. "You kept the bookstore open," he said softly. Mara's throat tightened. "I tried. You stayed. I didn't know where else to go." Outside the windows, the city no longer looked normal. Buildings shifted. Streetlights appeared younger. Billboards changed to brands that disappeared years ago. The farther the train moved, the farther backward the world seemed to bend. Mara suddenly understood. This wasn't a train carrying the dead. It was carrying moments, fragments of unfinished lives, regrets, goodbyes. The old man from the platform sat beside his wife now, both holding hands like no time had passed at all. Several passengers were crying, not from fear, from relief. Then the conductor finally appeared, tall, expressionless, wearing a navy uniform untouched by age. He spoke only once. "When the train reaches midnight," he said calmly, "everyone must choose." The cabin went silent. "Choose what?" Mara asked. The conductor looked directly at her. "To remain with yesterday," he paused, "or return to tomorrow." The train slowed near the river crossing where the flood happened years ago. Outside, Mara saw herself as a child holding her grandfather's hand, laughing, alive in a way she hadn't felt in years. The doors opened again. Warm golden light spilled across the tracks. Her grandfather gently squeezed her hand. "You can stay," he whispered, "for one dangerous second." She almost did. Then she remembered something painful. The bookstore. The people who still entered every morning searching for stories that made surviving feel possible. The life still waiting for her. Mara stepped backward off the train just as the whistle screamed through the fog. The doors closed. The silver cars drifted into the darkness and vanished before reaching the end of the tracks. By sunrise, the station lights were dead again. No footage survived. Every phone recording corrupted at exactly 11:43 p.m. But sometimes, late at night, customers entering Mara's bookstore notice an old handwritten sign hanging near the register. If yesterday came back for you, would you leave everything behind to board the train? What would you choose?